In 1993, Michael Jackson stood perfectly still for 90 seconds in front of 133 million people. The NFL paid him exactly $0 for this performance. But what looked like a bad deal was actually one of the smartest financial leverage plays in music history. Today, we're auditing the King of Pop's Super Bowl strategy to see how he traded a paycheck for an empire, and why this specific moment might have been the peak of his financial power before the debt crisis hit. Let's start with the basics. Super Bowl 27, January 31st, 1993, Pasadena, California. Before Michael Jackson, the Super Bowl halftime show was not the global spectacle we know today. It was marching bands, drill teams, safe programming, ratings even dipped during halftime. The NFL had a problem, so they made a strategic decision. They didn't just book an artist, they booked the biggest star on the planet. Michael Jackson was already a global empire. By 1993, he had sold hundreds of millions of records. Thriller alone remains the best-selling album of all time. He wasn't a rising star, he was a financial machine. So how much did it cost to produce that halftime show? Estimates place the production costs between $2 to $3 million. Staging, pyrotechnics, global broadcast integration, logistics, the NFL covered production. But Michael Jackson, he took no performance fee, zero salary, zero appearance check, and that decision is where the leverage begins. Because what he gained was worth exponentially more. Let's look at viewership. 133 million Americans watched live. At the time, it was one of the most watched broadcasts in US history. Globally, the reach was even larger. That kind of exposure today would cost tens of millions in advertising, and Michael Jackson got it for free. Now here's where it gets interesting. Immediately following the Super Bowl performance, sales of the Dangerous album surged. Reports show album sales increased dramatically in the weeks after. Concert demand spiked. Media dominance intensified. This wasn't a concert, it was a global marketing campaign, and he didn't pay for airtime. He was the airtime. A 12-minute halftime performance equals 24 separate 30-second ad slots. At $850,000 per 30 seconds in 1993, that totals $20.4 million in equivalent advertising value, and that's in 1993 dollars. Now adjust for inflation, roughly 2.2 times from 1993 to today. That same media exposure would be worth approximately $45 to $50 million in today's money. Pause there, because here's the strategic insight. Michael Jackson performed for free. His direct cash compensation, $0. No appearance fee, no performance check, but the earned media value, $20.4 million in 1993 dollars. 45 million plus when adjusted for inflation. That's not just strong return on investment, that's effectively infinite ROI on his time. Because what did he invest? 12 minutes of performance. What did he receive? Massive brand amplification. Album sales surged. Tour demand increased. Global media dominance intensified. And most importantly, the value of his music catalog strengthened. He traded short-term cash for long-term leverage. He declined a paycheck and captured global positioning. And that is why those 90 seconds of stillness may have been one of the most profitable non-paid performances in music history.